Smackdown, Smackdown, Smackdown. A way better show. Honestly, a better show in general and a better crowd than general than that bumblefuck one horse southern town called Lafayette, Louisiana. I don't know what the fuck that was last night. That crowd was ass, okay? That crowd was dead. That crowd sucked. Listen, come on, the internet has pretty much shitted on that crowd, okay? Everyone has. If you have reviewed this show and you thought Raw was really good last night despite the NXT call-up, debuts, you got something wrong, because to what I saw last night was just very bad, and I felt bad for those NXT guys because literally no one knew who the fuck they were. I don't know what that crowd was smoking, or they took sleeping pills before they saw Raw, but that crowd fucking sucked. It was like a silent library in there last night. You could have dropped a pin throughout the entire night and no one could not know the reactions of these people. They just couldn't, okay? It's like a damn funeral almost watching that show. But other than this, shitty-ass crowd of Lafayette, we were still technically in Louisiana, but we went to the Smoothie King Center as they've been there before. One could mostly tell because, it was, during NXT TakeOver and night after WrestleMania this year and everything, but with New Orleans? Yeah, New Orleans being a more livelier crowd and actually cared what was going on. Like I said, it's really weird to tell between tonight and yesterday, but tonight was at least a better show just by default. Really, SmackDown was better by default of whatever the fuck was going on last night, and this crowd actually had some energy and at least they knew what was going on. Not the biggest reactions here and there throughout the night, but at least they were excited and more interesting. And, they wanted to see the show. It wasn't like, let's buy tickets to sit around for 3 hours and not react and do anything. Pretty much we had Shane McMahon kick off the entire show as Shane came out. And, which we are going to get the same thing tonight, that all the people you saw from NXT last night, Ricochet, Aleister Black, and, DIY, Gargano, and Ciampa would be on SmackDown tonight and will be competing again. But before he could move on, The Miz came out then and apologized to Shane, talking about he hasn't slept in the past 2 days because he wanted to get some off his chest about him losing the SmackDown tag titles on Sunday. And he was confessing to him that I used you because, their daddy issues, which I don't know why we're still going off of this. And, Miz talked about, when Shane brought out his dad, that, it was the first time his dad told him he was proud of him and loved him. If you look at his show and multiple other times with Miz's dad on TV, that could paint a different picture for you if you knew that. But Miz pretty much went on to talk about he said to what his dad did was one of the greatest moments of his life. I guess it was more important to win the WWE Championship. And he let Shane down Sunday, but he can't change the past, but he wants to control the future, and he wanted a rematch, so rematch. Usos came out then, and they pretty much said, Shane could forgive Miz, just for the opportunity, so just to prove themselves that the Usos are the best tag teams in the world. And they said Miz is a joke, he's a loser, he's a fraud and a failure, and, they're not going to win. He's just not going to win. But Shane said, you don't disrespect my partner and partner, you dig, as he said. And Shane pretty much says, there will be a rematch in Cleveland, Ohio, the Miz's hometown, at Fastlane. So I guess those rematch clauses still work. But then again, Shane is one of the people in charge, so I guess he can call rematches on the fly like that, even though they don't want to do automatic rematch clauses when you lose the titles anymore. But it's gonna happen anyways. And because I guess people thought the match was going to happen tonight in New Orleans, but I guess the fans were really pissed and said we got to wait till Fastlane for it, which they did boo. So like I said, at least they showed energy tonight, and the Usos pretty much laughed as Miz and Shane were ready, I guess, for Fastlane in the next few weeks or whenever that pay-per-view is and when it goes down. But whenever it was going to go down. But like I said, the promo itself, I'm surprised we're still seeing this whole thing go on, but I can pretty most likely tell at Fastlane that one of these two are going to turn on each other. Most likely Miz will turn on Shane since his dad will be there, which we'll get to later what he said about that. But you could tell one is going to just turn on the other, okay? And I don't think people want to wait till the pay-per-view about it. But we did kick off, well, I guess the first part of, one of NXT call-ups having a match tonight was Aleister Black back again, which actually had a vignette so people could actually know who this man is if they've never even seen NXT before. Because all you had him do last night was, why did you have him go against Elias and have an 8-minute competitive match out there when he probably should have just kicked when Black should have just kicked Elias's head off in seconds and make Black look strong instead of doing that competitive match, giving Elias nearly 60-70% of offense. But since Aleister Black was here, they got a vignette, and this is an NXT TakeOver rematch. If you all remember from last year's NXT TakeOver New Orleans during WrestleMania weekend in the same arena of New Orleans at the Smoothie King Center. So kind of weird to actually see these two go against each other 1 year later, pretty much almost 1 year later, in the same venue for which they fought for a title last year. So pretty much, like I said, Aleister Black versus Andrade, which, let me kind of add, this is a little bit strange too, and I kind of think about it. It's kind of funny that, because Black is married to Zelina Vega out there, and, she manages Andrade. I don't know, something funny about that for some reason, because I'm sitting there wondering, like, wait a minute, isn't he hitting that? Black, so and I know that's a fact, everyone kind of knows that, but so something about, like, I just kind of noticed that throughout the match, like, that is his wife out there. But this match here, good match. It wasn't TakeOver match, but like I said, the crowd was more interested. There was a little bit of an NXT chant at the beginning. The crowd was actually excited to see what was going on. These two put on a good match. Black pretty much dodged the double knees thing again after, he hit Andrade hit the first one, but Black came back with a black mask, clean win. So there you go. I know some people aren't. I kind of read something, they didn't like how they kind of having but Andrade lose again, because we've seen Almas on a very long losing streak before, and people kind of wonder, isn't this guy supposed to be in a feud with Rey Mysterio right now? If I believe that's still going. If last time I checked, I believe it's still going, but. Wasn't he supposed to be doing that? But come on, you knew the NXT guys were really going to go over tonight, and Black, of course, went over, and they had a good match. Some what you saw from last year, like I said, not TakeOver worthy, but it was good to see it again. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were backstage, as they talked about what they did on Raw last night, and that we earned our NXT titles. And Gargano says, we went to war together, but now we're in the same building, which is another thing. These two had one of the best matches of the year last year at NXT TakeOver New Orleans in an unsanctioned match, but now they're back again, and now we're a team, and they're the future and stuff. I know some people don't like it, and it's almost really strange seeing Tommaso Ciampa is technically a face right now, because that's what they kind of built them to be, him and Gargano as a tag team right now. Because if you watch NXT and you know what's going on there, these guys are just, they're somewhat supposed to be a team, but they're not really a team, because, yes, Ciampa is a mega heel right now, and Gargano is somewhat still kind of going to the darkness, but kind of tonight is just a little bit strange, because both of these guys they're just faces now. They're faces on NXT, which is kind of strange. And, of course, the Bar, they walk up there and say, let's take your NXT Superstar to Work Day, and they pretty much says no one cares. And pretty much he told him to go back to Raw NXT because we run Smackdown, as they said. And Ciampa said, we're here to take over. And Gargano says, we're not going to be looking to set the bar. We're looking to break the bar. The Bar pretty much laughed, and they walked off from it. So many comments I saw tonight about the Bar towers over Gargano and Ciampa, calling them vanilla midgets. I swear they read like 3 comments from them from that tonight because of their how short they were. But moving on from that, what else they had? Because I think it's supposed to be a 6-man tag later on tonight with Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Kofi Kingston. which Kofi pretty much gave them. He gave them not donuts, but I guess he gave them like an olive branch or pancake branch, olive tree, and you hear the Kofi chants already as soon as they saw him on screen. We're gonna get to Kofi later on in the night, but pretty much coming up next, DIY versus the Bar, which was I will say this was a good match to watch too. Now we're gonna get to a spot where everyone was talking about because it was going good. I thought, I think Cesaro may have botched grabbing Ciampa out there. I think he was trying to slam onto the ground when Ciampa jumped out of the ring, and I feel like they had to block out a word. But this was a really good match. Now the spot everyone's talking about was when Ciampa did a sunset flip off the top rope onto Sheamus, but you could see Sheamus lands on Ciampa's knee very badly, and you just see it. It looks bad to watch, okay? It really does. And it looked like he just bent it. I don't think it was the bad leg, Ciampa's had on before with the knee brace. I just think it was on his, good leg. And it looked really brutal to watch, and you could see it bend weird. And you didn't really see Ciampa a lot through the rest of this match because Gargano had kind of took over after that. And he was there to get the Gargano's escape on Cesaro, but Cesaro pretty much powered out and had Sheamus in, who pretty much dropped the knee from the top rope then. And after that, Sheamus to pretty much start to, he grabbed Gargano, he had the Irish curse on him, and then pretty much says, "You're nothing." Gargano super kicked him. Ciampa was on the apron then, because he did try to get back in the match because he broke up the pin after that tag one. But pretty much when Cesaro, I think Sheamus... Cesaro had Gargano in the ropes. Pretty much Ciampa tagged himself in, pretty much rolled Cesaro up to get the win. So a good win for DIY. I just think the nastiest spot, and hopefully still he's okay after this, Tommaso Ciampa, because that was a very hard spot there. I will say that. You just look at the replay, it looked really bad when Sheamus landed it on his knee. Like, it looked a little bit tough to watch, but, pretty much everyone else took over, and, Ciampa got the win, and I think he was able to walk out on his own. So, like I said, hopefully he's good after this, because that was a tough spot to land off on when doing it. But another one for DIY, which I know some people are already saying, why did the announcers say that it's supposed to be so surprising that they beat the Bar, even though one is the NXT champion and one is the North American champion. These men have titles, if they don't remember. The Bar, they really got nothing going on right now. So there you go. They don't really have nothing going on. What else they have? I think Rowan, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan were in the back. I guess they were talking about something. Of course, they talked about DX and Hall of Fame. You already know my thoughts on that and what I think about it. And just the Hall of Fame itself, I'm sure a lot of people have many problems with the Hall of Fame as it is already, and I've already explained that during my Monday Night Raw review, so go check that out if you like. But Asuka, who is a person who is the SmackDown Women's Champion, who has not been seen in over 3 weeks, as she finally came out, which I'm sure some people forgot she was even the champion at one point. And Dasha Fuentes talked to her, talking about what did she think about, I guess people kind of overlooking her right now and more focused on Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. But Asuka says, "I'm not worried about them, okay? I made Becky tap out. I beat both of them. I'm ready for a new challenge," as she said. Mandy Rose then came out, and, with Sonya Deville, as Rose said that, she's irresistible and, God's greatest creation, and that Mandy Rose is ready for Asuka. And the first thing I was going to do when I saw her come out, because I said, who else do they have to face for Asuka, okay? Because you have the two top women on SmackDown, the other two top women on SmackDown focused on the Raw champion. And I'm thinking, now, who other competition do they have for Asuka? Because I can't really put anyone up to a candle on her. I really can't. And my first instinct when Mandy Rose came out, I would say to laugh, but she did do a good job in the Elimination Chamber last Sunday. And, as I watched this, because like I said, this was not actually a bad match. It really wasn't. And I got to say, they gave Rose a lot of offense out there. But one thing I felt like that did not need to be, and I know some people are already speculating right now, is why do we have in the past 72 hours, Lacey Evans do her entrance, walk to the, to the pretty much down the ramp, and then walk right back, and everyone is all distracted, which Rose even tried to take advantage of it and tried to roll Asuka up, but it did not work, and then went to commercial. That's like, what, three times now. What is the point of this? And I already know people think, is it going to be Lacey Evans versus Asuka at WrestleMania? I hope not. I don't really want to see her lose the title right there, if that may happen, but I cannot be really sure. But moving on from that, Rose pretty much, like I said, Rose hit a crazy, I know some people are going to say it's a V trigger, but it looked like a V trigger as she hit Asuka on the outside of the ring, which they played that several times on replay. Asuka was able to get the advantage, pretty much with the spinning back fist kick combination on her, could get a 2, even hitting a German suplex and a Shining Wizard. But pretty much Asuka, after she did a kick, Mandy Rose pretty much she hit her with a kick to the eye. Rose pretty much saying her eye hurt, and she pretty much told her to back off. And referee kept telling Asuka to back off, but pretty much she pushed Asuka into the ropes, rolled her up, and won the match. Okay, there's a lot of things that can be wrong with this entire thing. First off, this match, I'm not going to say was really bad, and I will say Mandy Rose was not really that bad in this match, okay? Which, really kind of, I guess, taking it toe-to-toe to Asuka, which I'm pretty much sure they're giving her a big push right now. But what gets me is this. Let me get this straight. Asuka's been off TV for over 3 weeks, and she made Becky Lynch tap at the Royal Rumble, but, she disappears off for 3 weeks, and then the first match you bring her back, she loses already, and she's the champion, and lost to Mandy Rose? That makes no sense. That's dumb. I don't understand what was the point of that. Which now I can most likely tell it's going to be Mandy Rose and Asuka at Fastlane for all I know, because I don't really want to see that happen in WrestleMania for some reason. But then again, WWE may fuck around and do that anyways. But a lot of it just does not make sense. It just doesn't. Like, why was she off TV for 3 weeks just to have the champion lose in a random match to Mandy Rose? In a random match. I was just surprised Mandy Rose actually beat the champion on TV. That was just strange. I did not get that. And then pretty much went to Charlotte, she was watching the match in the back, which I guess they have some new interview woman. I don't know who the fuck that was. And pretty much, asked her what happened. Because I guess she was just watching Asuka, lose the match and everything. Charlotte then pretty much talked about the bruise on her arm, that Becky left, and they asked her if Becky's going to keep haunting her. But Charlotte pretty much says that Becky's suspended, that says she does not exist. Her focus is on Ronda Rousey. I did what I had to do back at, I guess, some house show last Saturday, and that if Becky shows up again, she'll be arrested for criminal trespassing, and her focus now is on Ronda Rousey in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania without Becky. We all know this is going to become a triple threat match, so watch out for it. You know it'll be a triple threat. Just wait till Monday. We'll see what happens. I'm going to get to that too. What else? Miz was talking to Shane. I guess his dad will be at ringside at Fastlane, so Mr. Miz will be back again. Ricochet, who actually got a full entrance this time on Smackdown instead of Raw, went against Eric Young. I did not know Eric Young even was still in this company. Neither did I know Sanity was still here, because they are so dead you forget they're even on this show at this point. But, of course, Eric Young was there to do the job to Ricochet. This is just a showcase match for Ricochet. That's all it really was. It was, like I said, it was a showcase for him. It was a bad spot where I guess Ricochet kind of knocked his head into Eric Young, where Young kind of suffered a cut on his right eye. Ricochet, of course, pretty much did like he did that dive onto Young and Dane on the outside of the ring, pretty much made quick work of Sanity, puts Eric Young back in the ring, hits the 630 for the win. So good win for Ricochet right there. Like I said, great showcase for him. And they had a good video package vignette for him before the match even started, just to see who people knew that Ricochet was. But I will say, for all the NXT guys, they did get a really good showing tonight, and the crowd actually was caring for what they did tonight, okay? And they were more appreciative, and they were more lively for these guys. I guess this was just a one-time thing for this week for them. I know some people question why they were even on. Maybe they should have saved these guys a surprise instead of telling them when they were going to be there yesterday. but before the show. But like I said, they got a good showing tonight on SmackDown. And don't be wrong, they didn't have really nothing bad on Raw. It was just the crowd that killed them on Raw. Next thing you know, the New Day was in the back, as talked about the last 7 days for Kofi Kingston. But Xavier Woods said, let's talk about this man had 11 years, okay? 11 years. And then they said, they start to point out things that, weren't around 11 years ago, like Drake's So Far Gone album, or Instagram, or this one was my favorite line right here. Biggie said, this was such trolling. Like, Biggie is a savage for saying this, though. And he said he's a savage for saying a lot of things. But when he said, this has been longer than Empire has been on the air, and we all know they've been doing some crazy things to keep that show interesting. So, yeah, we know, and I think the crowd knew, too. Listen, if you don't know what's going on, especially in my neck of the woods, this is where it's really going on in Chicago. If you know about Empire, if you know about the whole whatever Jussie Smollett situation, and like I said, it's going on in my neck of the woods, which may be right now, to what I've been seeing on the news, could be a scam for all I know, or him orchestrating this whole thing. Listen, I don't want to get into full details of it, but if you know what Biggie is talking about, the man is a savage for saying that line, because we trust me, between him, that show's been doing a lot of things, and they're not even on TV right now to keep themselves interesting, and we know the crazy things they've been doing. Okay, there you go. Like I said, you don't believe me, go look it up yourselves. I'm not gonna go into the whole story about it, because it looks like it's just turning topsy-turvy every time I look at the news. It's some new information going out, so we're gonna step away from that. But the Biggie is a savage for saying that. But Kofi said, this week has been special. Kofi Mania is trending on Twitter and everything. And, this could have never been possible without his friends, his brothers, New Day, Biggie, and Woods, as Biggie did the introduction line ready to come out. New Day came out. Big reaction for Kofi Kingston. Big chant. Which they went into the commercial. The end of it was like so many commercials that the match didn't start till almost 8:45. But Kevin Owens, pretty much, they showed the same clip from yesterday, which, don't know when he's still coming back. I think in the next 2 weeks, though. What else? Everybody else then came out after that, and like I said, it was more entrances. Daniel Bryan pretty much cut a promo then. Talk about great minds of radical thinkers, people like Socrates, because they're not superheroes or celebrities that I beat all these men in the Elimination Chamber, and none of them deserve to face me at Fastlane for WWE Championship. They went to a commercial again. They hyped up, of course, Ric Flair's birthday for Monday. And this is something that doesn't make sense to me about with this Ric Flair thing. And I know they want to do it on Raw because they want to get the angle over on Raw. But let me get this straight. We're doing this in Atlanta, GA on Monday, right? Which is, Ric Flair is synonymous with that town, too. We've seen him there many times. But if SmackDown is in Charlotte, North Carolina next Tuesday for SmackDown, why wouldn't you just do the birthday in his hometown in Flair country, okay? It's Flair country in Charlotte, and he would get a massive pop for that, okay? He would get a massive pop. So why would you do it on Monday when you could have just did it in his hometown on Tuesday? Think about that there, people. But I'm sure they want to do it on Raw because they got to get the whole Ronda and Becky thing. And I've already said before what's going to happen when they do this Ric Flair birthday thing. I don't know how big of a thing they'll make it. They could bring out the 4 Horsemen. They could bring out Evolution, of all I know, if they'll even show up on there, because it's a lot of 4 Horsemen, okay? We didn't even say Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. I wouldn't say Ole Anderson, because he's going to say it's the shits, the drizzling shits. Look at shoot interviews, you know what I'm talking about. So I doubt they bring him up there. Or, I don't know, Malenko, Steve, Mongo, McMichael. It's a lot of horsemen. Luger, but I think we want to go for the main ones too. Evolution or whatever. And I'm like I tell you what's gonna happen. We all know Becky's gonna most likely interfere, and they say, "Oh, I'm gonna break your man's arm, your dad's arm if you don't give me my title shot." Or tell Vince that, or Flair would do his flop into a cake. I'd rather have him cut some crazy heel promo and bleed and, I don't know, cut a promo on Becky saying why Charlotte's going to beat her and try to make it look strong by having Flair, if it's going to be his birthday, have him come out and just cut an insane promo. For all I know, that would be cool, but I know they're not gonna do that, and they're just gonna most likely have Flair take a bump, but have him cut some crazy great promo out there before doing that. Okay, I don't want to see crying Ric Flair. I really don't. I don't. I'm tired of seeing that. Have this man come out, throw his jacket, and just elbow drop the shit out of things. Okay, I just want to see it. I'd rather see that. I don't know why. I'd rather see that. Bring Jay Lethal back for all I know. That was funny though back then, but you know how that's going down. But 6-man tag: Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton. It's not much to say. I will say Randy Orton hitting the crazy backdrops on Kofi to the announce table, but we all know where this is going. Kofi pretty much picking up the win. Once he got tagged in from AJ, he got a very big reaction. Pretty much doing that trust fall to the outside of the ring and dive on everybody, and pretty much going back in the ring and then doing the trust fall onto Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, throwing Daniel in. Trouble in Paradise. Kofi got the big win here. New Day celebrates. Shane McMahon comes out there and says at Fastlane it will be Daniel Bryan versus Shane McMahon. Why did I say Shane McMahon? It will be Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. Now, I will say this. I'm not surprised that this is given the reaction. I'm sure a lot of people would rather see this match at WrestleMania. I would rather see it at WrestleMania 2 than at Fastlane, but I know this is going to go on, which we've said before. Kofi was really never meant to be in this spot. This was Mustafa Ali's spot, but he got hurt. But the way Kofi has been so over and it's just won the fans over organically and stuff, I know everyone has said before they would rather have had Kofi win at Elimination Chamber to get that very big win, but WWE missed the boat on that. I would rather have it because at Elimination Chamber, I'm like, fuck this. I'd rather have him win the WWE Championship and main event WrestleMania. But if he won the title Elimination Chamber, and right now I'd rather have the match at WrestleMania than in Fastlane. Could this be a way for it to go on, and maybe he will face him at WrestleMania? But I feel like that may not happen. I want it to happen, and I'm still hoping it does. If we do get a Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania and have Kofi win, but I feel like that's not gonna happen though. At the same time, it's just something in my mind telling me it won't happen. And that's why we're doing this at Fastlane. So I'm not really surprised this match is announced for Fastlane. But hey man, one can only hope, I guess. I'm still, like I said, I still want him to face him for the championship at WrestleMania. I still want to see it happen, okay? I know it won't be the main event, but give Kofi what credit is due, okay? I've been saying it for years now. I've already put my stated claim for, like I've been saying 09, and this is right now the man is over. He's super over right now, Kofi Kingston. So I still would rather have the match at WrestleMania though. But overall, SmackDown was just a better show than in general, okay? SmackDown just wins by default. Raw was the shits, okay? Raw was deader than dead. Raw was like everybody, like someone shot the entire crowd with a tranquilizer gun because they did not know what was going on. SmackDown was just a better crowd by default. At least they knew what was going on. They did know who the NXT people were. Yeah, it was a lot of casuals, so it wasn't the biggest reaction, but they did know who these people were, at least half the crowd. They knew who they were. I know it's still, some people still find odd that they got DIY tagging with each other as faces, and because Champ is this mega heel on NXT. And that was a lot of, thing to be questioned. One thing I will say one thing I did not like about this show, though, was the thing with Asuka. Because like I said before, she beats Becky at the Rumble. You have this girl off of TV for 3 weeks just to bring back on TV to lose to Mandy Rose out of nowhere, really. So that made no sense to me. And the champion has not been here. So if you kept her off 3 weeks, you think you give her a win. That have her lose as soon as she comes back on TV. That made no sense to me. I don't understand the Lacey Evans thing either. That's just, I don't know. But overall, SmackDown was just a better and entertaining show. The NXT guys look good. They had a great showcase from Black to Ricochet to DIY. And the 6-man tag main event was whatever, so we kind of knew Kofi was going to get his shot sooner or later. Like I said before, I'd rather have it at WrestleMania, but like I said, let's just wait this out and see what happens at Fastlane, and we'll go off from there. But like I said, overall, SmackDown was just a way better show in general, and it was enjoyable, okay? But I am out of here. I will see you guys later. Tell me what you thought about SmackDown tonight. I'm sure anybody will agree it was better than Monday Night Raw, and there you go. But I am out of here. I will see you guys later. Peace out.